Hello everybody, this is Yoko's Band of Anime Reactions, and this is going to be my review for High School DxD Episode 7. Just waiting on the Naruto episode to finish processing, then I'll get the review for that one up. Anyway, this episode. Essentially, this episode is them planning on getting familiars, and when they show off the familiars, Rias is a bat that can turn into the girl that we saw in the first episode that gave Issei the flyer. So, essentially that was all planned by Rias just in case anything were to happen to Issei, he'd have that way to summon her. So yeah, that's what the flyers are for, be able to use those flyers to try and summon devils to make pacts with them. Anyway, it's now time for Issei and Asya to get their familiars because their flyer days are over essentially, because those are usually done by familiars. And the white-haired devil girl, her familiar is a kitty. It's so adorable. I'm like, why does it have to be so cute? Anyway, as they're talking about this, the student council president comes in, and apparently she's the head of another devil house. I can't remember what it was off the top of my head. It's gonna be a pain in the neck remembering all these names, especially when they're not in the show as often as, like the main characters are. And yeah, she's the head of her house, and she's got her her group, and a cocky little bugger ends up walking over and essentially starts trash talking them and bragging about how, I had 4 pawns used to make me a devil. And then his master, the student council president, the person who was essentially I think it was the student council clerk. I think that's what he was. But yeah, his student council president told him, yeah, get your facts straight. This guy had 8 pawns used to make him into a devil. So, yeah, he's essentially better than you. And they were telling them that they're going to go and get some familiars, but apparently the person who they get them from only does it once a month. And they're planning on going to get some too, which makes it a little bit of a problem. I guess they can't combine forces and go at the same time? I guess they aren't going to do that? That would be my solution, anyway, but I guess you need an episode, so they end up playing a game of tennis to try and decide it. And while they're doing the game of tennis with the girls, everybody in the school essentially shows up to watch, and Issei's friends are just snapping photos and everything, just being their usual pervert selves. It turns out to be a draw, because they ended up breaking the tennis rackets with how hard they were hitting the ball. And so they decided to go with another solution. Game of dodgeball. So they're going to be using everybody and not just the girls. And, yeah, during the game of dodgeball, or rather before, Issei ended up making some headbands for them, at the very least so he could tell who is who. And so he doesn't accidentally, hit somebody on his team. And during the game, it gets really intense, because if you were standing outside the building, you could see lights flashing and just hear all sorts of noises coming from that building. So yeah, they were using magic the whole time. Bad part. Issei takes a hit to his family jewels. Looks like a very hard hit too, which made me think I'm surprised they didn't rupture and break. And Asya was wanting to heal him, but obviously she'd have to go and get really close to the injury, like she did with that little boy's cut on his knee, in order to heal it. And obviously, since this is a very place, Yeah, Issei's trying to get her and tell her, no, leave it alone, you're not putting your freaky healing thing there, no. That's off limits. Because he doesn't know what that would do to his area, so he's not letting her touch it. So instead, she offers to make a compromise and to do it over the pants, so she doesn't have to touch it, which he lets her do. And yeah, they get one final hit in on the pawn guy on the other team, right in the same spot, which I found funny. And their team, Rios and them won. So they got the ability to go look for their familiars. And while they're out there, they run into a little dragon familiar, which apparently is very rare. And it would have made sense, you know, since Issei's got the dragon, sacred gear, it would make sense to have a dragon as a familiar, you know. And he was about to go for it when something started falling out of the sky and landing on all the girls. It was a green slimy thing, and it's apparently can eat away at clothes. And his perverted side started popping up, and he was wanting the slime as his familiar because he thought with that he'd be able to undress girls without ever having to touch them, because the familiar would do it for him. And you could tell that it was very, very effective because essentially it reduced the girls to almost being naked. And they ended up saying, no, you're not doing that, and they just destroyed almost all of them. And to prevent them from doing that, he hugged Asya just to keep them from, you know, doing the same thing to the ones on her. Little dragon didn't like that and shocked him to make him let go. And apparently they're very territorial and will protect those they see that they care about that are in danger. Which means that it wants to make a pact with her, and apparently those only go for the pure-hearted source, and since she used to be I guess you could say a supernatural nun, it works out. Dang, I'm getting a lot of views at the moment. I'm looking at my analytics, my real-time stuff as I'm sitting here talking, and it's going up a bit. Because it went from 818 to 825. Ugh. God, I hate that. Anyway, sadly, he didn't get a familiar, but she did. She made a pact with the little dragon, and apparently it wouldn't have worked with Issei anyway because it hates guys. Dang. Sucks for Issei. Now he's going to have to wait a whole month probably. Or probably 2, because I think the other house is going to probably go for their familiar hunting next month, which means he's going to have to wait 2 months before he can get his familiar. Wonder how that's going to go. But anyway, yeah, it went well, and here's hoping that nothing else bad happens, because I don't want to see any of them die, because I'm sure that takes a lot out of Rias to bring them back. Anyway, I will see everybody next time.